just waiting on people to. Oh, hi, John. Oh, good to see you. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I'm just wait. I didn't have a prelude here to play in the timer thing in the background, so I'm giving people a couple minutes to join us. Glad to see some people coming in. All right, let me see if I can kill this music and get started. Well, tonight I'm really having a rant tonight. This is I'm really PO'd at a lot of people right now. So I'm a little discombobulated. So tonight we're here, Real Deal is here, and the primary purpose of this YouTube channel is to, well, secondary reason is to expose corruption. And that seemed to almost be my primary these days. But it's really to bring on, wow, Josh, what's going on? Hey, good to, I guess you guys are, what are you over at your house? Trying to do a video and I'm stopping you? Okay, anyway, boy, talk about getting distracted by other YouTubers. That's nice. Thank you. I really appreciate everybody coming in and joining me having a meltdown on YouTube. Live. So yeah, the primary purpose of my channel is to bring transparency to this. I don't know what to call this town. The town of Townsend. It's always something, and it's just getting worse and worse. I'm kind of glad that that Josh here has joined me, because I've been thinking about Josh, and I've been thinking about that big video that we did just over a year ago. And I'm thinking about the corruption that I've been exposing recently here in Townsend, and trying to make comparisons to the last time I had a really big explosion here. And I think yes, we did. We wiped out the select board. Well, we're coming close this time. Now we're taking out the fire chief and the water superintendent, because they've got a little bit of thing going on with an ethics complaint, and now we got $1 million lawsuit. If you haven't been following, you need to check those out. But I think we've got something that might even be worse than what we did last year, Josh. So, and the problem here, I wasn't going to go deep into this right now, but since you're here, I had, well, yeah, I think that this is, oh, I'm so miscombobulated on this story, but yeah, the town government and even a lot of people in town have decided that the ethics complaint is BS, and nobody did anything wrong, and it's really good for the town. The water superintendent and the fire chief are saints, and they should get sainthood, not be charged with ethics violations. And it's not working out that way. The hearing is, there's a hearing next week, and there's a hearing on November 5th because of the water superintendent. And now another bidder is now suing the town for $1 million because we violated ethics in the contract, the bidding of the contract, and it went to Gary Shepard. And even though he wasn't the lowest bidder. So, and the Board of Selectmen and everybody else, well, not everybody else, but town government basically thinks they did nothing wrong. And they did everything wrong. And I keep talking about that, and which is pissing a lot of people off in this town. People that aren't involved. I mean, town government's mad at me, but the townspeople. See, this is a small town, and everybody's got all these connections, and they're dependent on each other, and they're dependent on some of the people who are the bad doers, and it's causing a problem, and it's got me really mad tonight, which is why I'm doing this video. And I mean, some of the things you're going to think I'm really petty, but I'm going to go off on this, and you'll understand when I tell the whole story, if I can spit it out in one piece. But there's a bunch of Facebook groups here in Townsend. We've got Townsend What's Going On, which I've quit that, and we hate each other now, and we both block each other, and because they're just censored and manipulative, and it's just nonsense. So that's okay. Then there's Townsend What's Going On Part 2, Well, that group is my group. I'm the admin on that group. So right now, that's the only group I trust. And I think it's the only group you could trust. If you want to know what's going on in Townsend, you need to go on that group. So I'm advertising that group. If you want to see my videos on Facebook, that's the only place you can get them now. Because the other groups, Townsend Uncensored is now censored. I am on post approval. So all of these groups now that I'm still allowed to go on, if I post anything, it won't get posted because I'm on post approval, which means none of my posts will be approved. So that's set me off. I just realized that this week. It's apparently been going on for a couple months. And the timing, guess what? The timing started when I started reporting on this ethics complaint with the illegal contracting bidding process thing. And that's when they put me on. They didn't want my videos. I was posting my videos on all the pages that I was on. And now that I'm blocked, everybody has to give me post approval. And tonight I'm going to out the admins of those groups. And so people can see they're people that we know, everybody knows. And I want the town to see who the assholes are. I want the town to see who's the members of the alleged members of the public who are doing censorship, and they don't want transparency. These people do not want you to know what's going on because they support what is going on. The corruption and lack of transparency is supported by townspeople who are circling the wagons for the people that are violating the law. And that is on Townsend Uncensored. The only admin there is Brittany Stagg. Brittany Stagg. I really don't know her. I'm not quite sure who she works for, but I can guess that it's probably somebody got to her and said, don't let Cindy post anything. Okay, then we're going to move over to, Just Politics 2 is the name of this group. It's been around for a little over a decade. That is the admins, which, I mean, I'm really mad at them. Tom Whittier, who's a firefighter, or was, or is, or I don't know what he's doing these days. But I know he circles the wagons on anything to do with firefighting. And he doesn't like me too much. We were EMTs together once upon a time. He's the admin there. And Carolyn Smart, she's the other admin. And then Jenny Jones is also a moderator on that group. And I'm really mad at them. And I may not let them post on my YouTube channel. I'm sure that at least one of them might even be watching right now. I don't know. But they've got me on post approval, which means 0 posting for Cindy. So I'm really mad. But I want to just express my contempt for them, but that they're not hurting me. Yeah, you pissed me off, but you're not hurting me at all. I'm just, you're hurting the townspeople. You don't want you do not want the other townspeople or other people who are not even in Townsend to see what's going on. You don't want them to know. And you don't, because you want to try to discredit me. And like you did last time, to show, I'm waiting for the news channel to come in Townsend again on this story. But the last time you tried to discredit me, you try to discredit me all the time and it doesn't work because I'm only talking about what's going on that can be proven. And this is going to be proven. This is proven. There are documents. But anyway, you're not hurting me. You're hurting the townspeople because you're depriving them of information on what's going on around them. And this corruption with the contracting is definitely going to harm the taxpayers. This is going to be very costly, especially if the Board of Selectmen doesn't do it right, which I don't believe that they're doing it right because they're pretty adamant. Whenever I speak to any of them, they are very adamant. And if you watch what they say in meetings, they're adamant in support of Gary and David on what they've done. They didn't do anything wrong, and they did a great job. They're doing great things for this town, and we're never going to get rid of them, and it's like, are you nuts? that this is complete, and this puts us all in a very dangerous place where all these people are supporting corruption and violations of laws and people lining their pockets based on the taxpayer. This is whacked. And I think we need to really do something about this. Um, I don't know what to do. I mean, I'm just saying that, I guess, but we'll find out over time as this really more information comes out. Once the once the ethics commission completes their hearing in November, we'll get a lot more information. I'm quite sure David has the potential of getting the max fine, which is $10,000, and that's a personal fine. That's not on the taxpayer. And then this $1 million lawsuit can really mushroom to $2 million by the time you're done with all the legal fees, and they can add on additional costs. I'm not quite sure. I wish I was a lawyer. I wish I went to law school. Jesus. But to know really how many different things can be tacked on to this. And I'm really hoping the insurance company, the town's insurance company, gets this settled, as pay it off. Just take it. Just make a settlement, because we can't possibly win this. So anyway, but the other thing, I mean, I'm just really mad. I'm mad at the people don't want. There are people in this town that do not want other people in this town to know what's going on. They want the other message that we have. These guys should be given sainthood, even though the rest of the state is trying to get us to do something, and it just makes me crazy that our town thinks that we're above the law. Our town government thinks they're above the law. That we're towns and we're a small town. We really don't have time for this. We can't obey all the laws. How can we be expected to obey all the laws? Hello? We're not independent. We're not, a sovereign town here. We have to obey the law, and we're not exempt from it. It's just not there. And then I have to, it's really funny that Josh is here. If you guys are still in here. Yeah, okay, I think you guys are both still here. But anyway, because I'm not looking at who's in here. I'm just looking at what your comments are. I only know you two guys are here. There's probably other people here. I just don't have I don't think. Oh, no, you are the only two in here. There might have been more, but I wasn't watching the little eyeball there in the corner. Anyway, yeah, I had, you guys will get a kick out of this. I had the absolute worst insult the other day when a member of the Board of Selectmen accused me of being a First Amendment auditor. Are you doing First Amendment audits? What? I don't do First Amendment audits. What are you talking about? Oh, yeah, okay. They laughed. It's like, you're accusing me of being do you know what a First Amendment auditor is? And, and I don't watch your channel. Well, shit. If you watch my channel, maybe you would know. I doubt it. And then she said, I tell people not to watch your channel. And it's like, why? Because I'm a First Amendment auditor. I'm one of those bad people that do First Amendment audits. And the truth be told, I'm not a First Amendment auditor. You guys know that. I do commentary usually. I go to meetings sometimes. I go out, if there's a fire, I shoot video of that. That's not First Amendment auditing. Oh my goodness. And I don't have a desire to be a First Amendment auditor. I've watched some of the best of them. I recommend that people should watch AFA. I recommend that people should watch, let's see. When I first got introduced to First Amendment auditing was is Audit the Audit. Is he still out there? That was the first one I ever saw, I think. I was watching his videos and I really liked them. He wasn't doing the audits. And I think he was mostly doing videos of bad cops, and then he just grades people. I don't know. But I used to like watching him. I kind of lost track of him. And yes, I help people understand workings of everything. I know I'm terrible. But they got me lumped in with you guys. Whole different thing. I have no desire to be a First Amendment auditor, but I mean, I got started with this channel over transparency. My first video was when I was trying to watch a meeting that was supposed to be on Zoom, and it wasn't on cable either. And I got in my car and drove down to the town hall as fast as I could, and my channel was born. And I've been really focused on that. I'd like to expand into other things. Yeah, that's him, John Lang. But anyway, someday I might expand. I'd like to get out of towns and report on some of the more interesting things happening in the world. But yeah. So so that I really want to somehow, if I'm going to address the townspeople on this issue of what these people in towns and in town government are trying to keep you from watching my channel. They don't want you to watch my channel because they don't want you to know what I have to say. And what I have to say is important. The cursor was right in front of my face, wasn't it? But they don't want the townspeople to know what's going on. And so they go around telling people, oh, don't watch Cindy's channel. She's a First Amendment auditor. She's one of those bad people like Josh Abrams. And I have to harass you, Josh, if you're still in here. So anyway, but and that, you shouldn't watch her channel. Then we have another person in the building department, Janet. I've talked to her a couple times, and she keeps telling people that she doesn't watch my channel. You shouldn't watch my channel. She doesn't watch YouTube at all because she doesn't want to have people make money by her watching my channel. And it's like, any YouTuber can look at my data, my stats, and you can see that I'm not making any money. Not a nickel. I'm not yet qualified to make any money. And for members of the public, I'm not going to get into all the details on the statistics, that the qualifying factors, but even if I were, I'm like, maybe if I really put the work into increasing my numbers, I'm like halfway there, only halfway there. And I've been doing this for over a year. And I mean, obviously I haven't put enough effort. If I wanted to make money, I probably could. I could put some effort into it and get a little crazier on here and get more subscribers and do all this stuff. But when somebody becomes eligible to make money on YouTube, you have to apply for it. YouTube lets you know that you're eligible. I don't know exactly all the steps, but I do know they let you know when you're eligible for the next level, and then you have to apply. Most people who are YouTubers aren't making a nickel. They're doing it for pure enjoyment. They're doing it to share information, or sometimes just have fun. They're doing it to do what I do. They have a mission that they care about, and they want to do things, and they're not looking for the money. They're looking to get more people. I want more people to watch my channel because I have a message, and I want you to hear my message, and I want you to get involved in the community and even maybe learn. I want town officials to watch my videos so that you can learn what you're doing wrong and fix it. I don't necessarily want to, I do open meeting law complaints almost every month, and I'm getting tired of it. But just learn what you're supposed to be doing and not, go to battle with me. I'm not trying to go to battle with anybody. But, the people trying to keep other people from watching my videos by telling lies or not understanding how this works, or just you prove that you're against transparency. Because if you were in favor of transparency, you would be sending people to my channel. You would be talking to me offline. Cindy, can you fix this? What you said, I don't agree with what you said, which sometimes, so what? But, because I'm not here to cause more problems. And I tell people all the time on my videos, if I'm doing something, if I say things, if I'm reporting on some nonsense going on in town, if I got it wrong, let me know. And I will come clean. I will make the correction in another video and and tell this true story. And sometimes stories change because things are very moving pretty rapidly in some of these things, especially with the most recent scandal going on here in town. This changes all the time. I mean, the basic premise of it isn't going to change, but a lot of new information comes forward, and a lot of things can be different. And from video to video, things get changed. And well, for those of you that followed me over the last year, 2 years, gosh, since the beginning, trash in Townsend, the big issue. Are we getting trash pickup? That changed every week. But I try to keep people informed on what's going on. But the people that are trying to prevent me from doing that, you're only shooting yourselves in the feet. You're making more problems than need to be there. Yes, I have some entertainment value that I'm looking for in some of my videos, and I'll raise the flags and all this kind of stuff, and I'll put, give my opinion. I'm not like some of the news stations where you just get facts. You don't get a lot of opinion. I'm here for this is my channel. I'm going to give you my opinion. Let's see. John has a question. Let's see. The town I'm in is bringing the same item on the agenda by changing the wording of the item. If this is like a regular, like a select board meeting or something like that, they could put the same item on an agenda repeatedly if they're the only ones. Well, yeah, they can always, they could do that. Sure. Every meeting they can have the same item on an agenda and talk it to death. They certainly can. I think that's what you're asking me. If you're talking about, and John, I don't know if you live in Massachusetts or somewhere else. I can't. I think you are. I think I forgot. I think you're in Massachusetts, and so the laws are different states. Why I say that, but voted down to. Oh, is this town meeting? You're talking about town meeting? Okay. Yeah, they can, because your select board would put it on the agenda for town meeting, on the warrant, and then, well, my town, my town keeps putting overrides on the ballot. In fact, they'll have a town meeting, and we'll vote it down, and then they'll, 3 months later, we're having a special town meeting again for an override, and then sometimes we'll go a third time, and it's very expensive, and sometimes the town will actually pass it at town meeting, and then we have to have an election. Then it won't pass on the election, so then they'll have another town meeting, and they'll just keep doing it over and over again. They can keep doing that. Different types of articles take a little bit more work than that. It depends on the article. There's zoning, and then there's, for the most part, the town can keep putting things on the agenda for the town meeting until they get sick and tired of doing it. And I get mad because if you do it on a special town meeting, oh, MBTA. Okay. Yeah. So you're one of the last surviving towns that hasn't passed it. Is that what you're telling me? Because I'm really glad we passed it. We finally did just last month. We passed the MBTA thing. And it's really important for the towns to pass it. I'm going to give my political spin here. That because the state's not kidding. We keep voting it down. Oh, your town needs to vote it up. Yeah, I figured. Yeah, you said it keeps coming up. You have until December 31st to get this passed. If you don't, and the state is not messing around. They're going to cut your town off from grants. And I'm guarantee your town is getting a lot of funding from the state that you can't afford to give up. If you keep voting it down, then the next thing on your agenda should be a very large override. because, yeah, your townspeople need to understand that they're going to have to pass a very large override to replace all the funding you're not going to get from the state. And this includes money for roads and schools and public safety. And, you know, we all have our favorite departments that we don't want them to lose their funding, or we want to, you know, we want to help out, or, you know, everybody, winter's coming, we're going to start complaining about the roads again any minute. And, you know, if the state doesn't give you your chapter 90 money, you're not going to, you're not, nobody's got any asphalt to put in those little holes. As the holes get bigger, start planting flowers in there, because we're gonna be back to dirt roads, which there are some towns that still have them, believe it or not. And yeah, the MBTA is really important for you to pass. Tell your friends, vote yes. They got to put it up again. They're gonna give you. I don't know what town you're in. I could probably figure it out, but your town's going to put it up again because it's only October. So you're going to have another town meeting before the end of the year to try to get this through. Your leadership is not going to give up on that, and I don't blame them, because it's really, you're really screwed, and it's not the end of the world. The MBTA thing is only zoning. Nobody has to build anything. Nobody has to build anything. You just have to zone for it. You just establish an area in town where multifamily zoning what the MBTA is asking for. Okay, we'll allow it over here. Okay, and the state, fine. That's all you have to do. A lot of towns they're actually building housing, but there's a lot of towns that it's just not going to work out. I think we're not going to build where our zoned area is either. At least not in the near future. The property owner, I don't know if they even know about this, but they zone. Yeah. Anyway, we got it through, and I'm really glad. I figured Townsend's very, as you know, we're quite a strange town, and we usually don't like people telling us what to do. You're welcome, John. A lot of us were worried about our MBTA thing not passing, because towns and people are usually against anybody telling us what to do, whether it's legal or not, as you know from my other videos. And we don't like, oh, there's a law you have to follow. Oh no, we're not going to do that. We're Townsend. We're going to do it our way. We're going to do it the way we've always done it, and that's through corruption and nepotism and everything else. But we're not following your laws. We're a sovereign town. You heard of sovereign citizens? Well, we're a whole town of them. And so everybody was like holding their breath at town meeting last month when we passed the MBTA thing. So I think I think I worked on getting the message out, and our town leadership did too. So that's an issue that we both worked on together. And some of these people, they don't want to hear that I helped, because, oh no, we can't have some First Amendment auditor who's not a First Amendment auditor, some YouTuber being influential in town government. We can't have that. Oh, okay. Well, you have it. And the reason I came on here tonight was really to let people know that what's happening in town with the multiple, I'm getting corralled. They're trying to corral me in, and to prevent me from spreading my message. And to my 541 subscribers until I do this video, I'll probably lose 20 of them now. But but I've got you're not all on my Facebook groups. This Facebook group stuff doesn't impact you at all. But tell people, if you're in town, if you're around town, tell people to watch my video. And don't let these people that want to label me in some way to keep you from watching my videos. Watch my videos and see for yourself, or tell your friends to watch my videos. I get stopped in town all the time from people I don't even know, and I get nervous. People come up to me and they know who I am, and and then they tell me, "Oh, I love your channel. Thank you so much for doing that." I really feel good about that. It's only town leadership and now these Facebook auditors, admins, who are trying to shut me up. But the general public, the townspeople, tell me all the time that they're really glad I started this channel, and it keeps me motivated. But we have to work together to get the message out. Transparency is so important, and there's a lot of things that the townspeople here in Townsend need to know, and I want to try to be the one to tell everybody. And I mean, I'd love to have competition. I would love to have somebody else do a YouTube channel. You don't agree with me, do your own. It's really easy. I use this software here, StreamYard, which makes it a lot easier. When I first started, the pixelation was horrible. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. But StreamYard can be free. I've got a paid membership here, but you can get it for free. It works. I'm trying to, go ahead. I don't mind other people getting YouTube channels to compete with me on the same issues. You could, do a whole channel on picking on Cindy. Great. Bring it on. But it just riled me up when I noticed that, some of these people in town, first I was mad. The first thing that happened is the select board member told me that she accused me of being a First Amendment auditor, and that sent me into orbit. It's like, why would you say I'm a First Amendment auditor? I mostly just sit here in my living room and I'll bring up a video from a select board meeting or something and say, see, here's a violation of the open meeting law. Look at this. Do you believe she said that? And that's not auditing. That's just reporting the news and commentating on town meetings that are public. Nothing. I'm not creating any news here. Anyway, see, I get riled up. Don't call me a First Amendment auditor. See, I just will slam on the table here. No, that's not who I am. And some people don't understand what that even is. So they just know that it's a bad thing. Those First Amendment auditors. Oh. So anyway, well, I guess Josh, one of you left. Probably Josh. He must be doing another video somewhere, or taking care of his child or dog or wife, or is he moving? I heard a rumor in town. I might as well figure out the rumors. This rumor that Josh is moving out of Townsend. Anyway, I think he is, because his room has got less stuff in it. But anyway, we can have that. I'm live here. I don't need to talk about that. But anyway, so lost my train of thought. But what got me really riled up was the when I was getting accused of being a First Amendment auditor, and that she was telling people around town not to watch my video because of it. And it's like, what are you on? And I was critical of the attorney and police department. See, now that's a violation of the law. They cannot throw you out. You can file, I think, well, I don't know which you can. I mean, that's a violation of the open meeting law to be thrown out. Violation for that is a First Amendment violation. Well, they can, if you're interrupting the meeting and speaking out of turn without the original being recognized by the chair, they can throw you out if you repeatedly. But they have to warn you. They have to warn you. So. Yeah, they do. Now, since I'm responding, people that are watching this not live, I don't think I'm responding to live comments. I don't think anybody watching later are going to see the live comments that I'm responding to. But okay, okay, interesting. So anyway, yeah. Yeah, being, my lawyer, I hired a lawyer last year. I hired Mark Randazza last year, and he was very helpful and wrote a couple of threatening letters to town officials to let them know that they were mistreating me. So sometimes you have to do stuff like that to to get things on an even keel. And that did stop a lot of the abuse that I was going through. They 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 they, they walk very carefully on when I'm in the room. Not completely. I mean, but they do treat me more humanely. And they know I know what my rights are. And um, yeah, he called me in the letters. He referred to me as a citizen activist. He never referred to me as a First Amendment auditor. He referred to me as a citizen activist, and that was like, wow, I guess that's true. And then I was in yeah, yeah, John's saying it's a band-aid though. Yes. Um, you have to keep up on it. It depends on the circumstances, on everything that's going on with, I mean, townspeople. I mean, in Townsend, everybody knows who I am. Well, I mean, not every single person, but in town hall, they know who I am. They know what I stand for. They know what I believe in. They know why I'm there. They legitimately, even though they accuse me of things, they they know why I'm there. They'll have conversations with me now. It was very adversarial a year ago. Um, and as I don't know if you know this, I was a member of the Board of Selectmen about 10 years ago. It's almost 10 years. Holy shit. But so they know I know what they're supposed to be doing, and they know and now they know that I know my rights as a citizen activist too. So and I've been getting around and talking to different people actually around the country, and the work that I'm doing when I talk about it, again, I'm referred to as a citizen activist, and not and even there's one journalist out there, a national journalist, who refers to people that get started like I did as an accidental activist, that we came across an issue, and that ended up driving a almost a lifelong mission that really grows. And it's really amazing to see how people get that going, and they often use social media, as including YouTube, as their catalyst to getting things going. And that's really what happened to me, and I just can't put it down, and things just keep happening. And I'm really thrilled and honored, and I feel like I have a responsibility to expose things, or to let people know that these things are going on, because they wouldn't know. And my goal isn't to just look up dirt. I'm not just trying to dig up dirt. I occasionally have something nice to say. I do on my Facebook group. I do, like, I post things that are happening in the community. If I see a poster of something, I'll post that, and I try to get those kind of things out. But when dealing with being the activist in me, unfortunately, I have to reveal, different things that are happening that shouldn't be happening. And I'm looking to get them to see people make corrections. I'm not putting these things on my YouTube just to get likes and just to get views. It may get those things, and I'm happy when I see my subscriber count go up, or my viewing hours go up, or the number of views, or I get you guys that come into my live stream, and that's cool. And I mean, that it makes me feel good. Like, I think all YouTubers like to see those numbers go up a little bit, but I'm not doing it. That's not the end goal. That's not my end game, is to get those numbers. Those numbers are indicators that I'm doing my job. That those are indicators that more people are going to hear my message. Because again, I'm not making money. At this moment, I'm not looking to. I mean, that's an exciting thought. Oh, I'm going to get 10,000 subscribers overnight. No, it doesn't work that way. And I'm not looking for that now. I mean, the idea, struck me minimally at the beginning. See, that would be cool, but it doesn't work that way. And my mission here is the transparency issue, mostly in the town I'm living in, but I would like to expand it farther beyond Townsend, and get more involved with some of the things that are going on. like across the state. I would have liked to have been involved with the Karen Reed stuff, but there were enough people. I like watching Melanie Little, especially. But following Turtle Boy, following Melanie Little, the young jerks, that Mike Crawford there. There's Nurse Kim. I don't need to compete with them, and I don't feel like driving down to Canton anyway. I'm going that way tomorrow. I might stop at D&E Pizza, see what they got. If I have time, if I feel like stopping there on my way home to get something to eat. I don't know if I dare eat anything down there. But anyway, I mean, I'd like to get involved with more of that kind of stuff, but you really have to do deeper dives to go into that. And sometimes it's a little rough. I can't just do a video now and then like I do in town. I don't have a specific schedule. I've gone almost a month without doing a video just because I do get busy. I'm retired, so sometimes I think I've got all this time on my hands, and I don't. I start doing other things, and I just don't have time to do. I don't know how this happened. I'm one of those retirees that, okay, how did I ever have time to go to work? I really, every day, I like, even at the end of the day when I go to bed, it's like, what did I do today? I mean, I've been busy, busy, busy. How did I ever have time to work? I just don't know. But anyway, but I came on here tonight to do a big rant. And again, my rant is strictly about my primary mission, transparency, and not getting any. Or running into walls where people have other ideas. They do not want me to spread the news. What's the good word? To spread the message that I have. And that is strictly government transparency. We can't live without it. Any government works better with more transparency, unless your intention is to do things wrong. If you want to backroom deals, do unlawful contracting, you want to line people's pockets because you want to, skim money off things, you want to do things illegally, that's when you don't want transparency. And that's where I want to find it. But I'd rather have full-on transparency. And when they say that they're doing transparency, bullshit. And hell, a few months ago, our Board of Selectmen went into executive session to do the budget. And they thought they were doing the right thing. And two of us filed open meeting law complaints, and the Attorney General agreed with us. They weren't too happy about it either. So, yeah. So transparency and getting people to watch my channel. Now, I'm not here just to say, I want people to watch my channel. I do want people to watch my channel, but not because I just want to hear myself speak, which maybe I do, but I want people to get the message that I'm trying to send. I'm really pissed that all of the other towns and Facebook groups are blocking me from letting people know what's going on. That tells me a very bad tale, but I connected with the same people that are involved with this ethics complaint that's leading to the $1 million lawsuit. It's the same people involved with shutting that down, causing these people that are the admins they're under pressure, and they support the corruption, and they're under pressure. They're being told to block me, and they don't want to block me. I suspect they probably will block me completely now after this video, but they want me to try to post things. So they can see what I'm doing, but nobody else can. And okay, but I mean, as far as right this second goes, I'm still able to see what is being said on some of these other groups. Not that there's a lot. The really juicy ones, they won't let me in. So the ones that are really talking vile stuff, and some of it's about me, they yeah, they won't let me in there anyway. And it's like, fine, that's fine. But I think that I am doing a good job of getting the word out. I think enough people are watching my videos and able to hear what is happening with all these different things going on. Oh, don't you think that it's out of embarrassment? First response is anger, especially when you feel like you have been fooled. I'm not quite sure who you mean is embarrassed. I'm not sure who you're saying is embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed. I'll say yes. First response is anger. I was angry. I've calmed down a lot since I started this video here, but I feel anger, and I'm sure. I mean, when people feel like their positions are being challenged, I'm sure they get angry and they don't want to be impacted. First, especially when you feel like you have been fooled. I did feel like I had been fooled with when I found out this week that those blocking you who are involved in the suit. Oh, yeah. The people blocking me aren't directly involved with the suit. They're friends with, because this is a small town, and the people that are the admins all do know personally the people that are involved with the suit. So they're under pressure, and there is a I call them my fan club. I loosely call them my fan club, and I've called them that for about a decade. People that want to see my life destroyed. There was even one person that stood up at a town meeting and said, "Cindy, I'm going to destroy your life." And it's like, okay, he came close. He did pretty well, but I'm still here, and now I'm even here more because YouTube. But yeah, I think they're angry because I'm exposing what's going on, and I'm not supporting their friends. And I know if I go back to a year ago when we exposed Chaz, the select board member who ended up resigning because I revealed that he was a sexual predator and lost his his civilian job because of it. People were really mad at me. They were really lashing out at me and accusing me of making the story up. And this was to discredit me. They were first they couldn't believe it. They were saying, that can't be true, blah, blah, blah. And then they accused me of making it up. And that was when things shifted to the defense, that they wanted to completely discredit me so no one would listen to anything I said. And then NBC 10 got a hold of the story. Everybody stopped talking at that point. I was completely vindicated on doing anything wrong with this. So, the people that are blocking me, some of them they're under pressure from those that are more closely involved with the lawsuit. And they don't want me to keep talking about it, because I'm not going to stop talking about it until it's over. And even then it's going to be like I'm still talking about Chaz. I don't talk about Chaz very often. I'm kind of bringing him up tonight, but mostly because comparatively this is another scandal that is even bigger than the Chaz story. But this is a big bad thing that's happening in this town, and even statewide it's a bad thing. There's other towns do get into some ethical dilemmas like this, but our water superintendent had just won an award for the work he had done with the water department, and within a month or two of him getting their award, ethics charged him with violating the contract or the contracting laws. on what it was he got the award for. So, this is very embarrassing for the people that are directly involved, and it's their own fault that they're in a position to be embarrassed, because the water superintendent, who's under the ethics charges right now, all he has to do is he can negotiate a settlement with the state, and it's completely off the record. It's not a public record. We'll never know whatever became of it. And it's his own damn fault that this is a public spectacle right now. The lawsuit, on the other hand, is different. It's the same issue, but the lawsuit will bring up all this stuff anyway. But this is a bad black mark, and it puts the town in a very bad position, because the people involved, particularly Gary Shepard, who's our fire chief, he does almost every construction project in town. He gets the contract. He employs quite a few people in this town. He and his family and his employees are on almost every board in this town. He's had business relationships with a large percentage of people that are on multiple boards in this town. A lot of people in this town are financially dependent on Gary Shepard. And so there's a lot of pressure. People's livelihoods are dependent on Gary coming out smelling like a rose every day of the week. And that is coming to a halt. He's not looked at as a saint by everyone in town except for our Board of Selectmen. And people are asking questions. And my video, I have not just done a video, let me go attack Gary Shepard. His name is just involved in everything. I didn't put him there. He put himself there. And that's what this pressure is about, is to, shut Cindy up, because it's costing people their money, and it's costing people are afraid for their jobs. People are afraid for, this is like watching some, something happening in, I don't know, Appalachia, that, I don't know, like I'm watching a movie where people are impacted by, someone, it's like what you see in the movies, and you hear about it happening other places, and, somehow, Townsend's different. We're not. It's the same thing. Yes, blaming the messenger. People blame the messenger instead of the people who created the mess. Yes. Definitely, that happens all the time. You want to shoot the messenger so that the message won't be heard anymore, and that nobody will know what's happening. And because things happen in courtrooms, in the courts across Massachusetts and everywhere, not just Massachusetts, every day, and most of us never hear about it unless you're going on the court pages and you're looking up the dockets, and sometimes actually in going on Zoom and watching the trials, or some of the processes that are going on in the court, or actually going down. And that's what I do sometimes. I mean, I check the dockets for Air District Court every single morning. And sometimes I forget, but 99% of the time I'm checking the docket. And that's our local court. And I want to see if any names pop up that I know. And it's quite entertaining when I do see names that I know. And because I want to get information on the case. And the small claims ones are interesting. I don't do stories on most of the stuff. I don't need to. I think, I might be just a mean person if I did a video because so-and-so didn't pay her credit card bills and she owes $25,000, or so-and-so's having a debate with a contractor and that's about $50,000. I mean, and all I could see is some documents, and I'm not really And then I will go down to the courthouse and get some of the records on these cases. But I haven't done videos on people's small claims, personal. It's public record, but I don't, I haven't found the need to really. It's good information for me to have for later if these people, like there is somebody who has run for select board who who doesn't pay her credit card bills. She's in small claims all the time. And so she gets some smart idea to run again. These are all going to be, all the records that I have will be displayed in fine living color. Even though the paper's black and white, we will be doing videos on all these things. So don't run for select board again or anything else for that matter. But that's how I find out a lot of things that are happening. I've done, like, even I did the videos on Tad Rochette, and he lost a police officer who retired and lost his pension. John, I don't know if you follow my channel. I think you do sometimes, but the Tad Rochette was a retired police officer who lost his. He retired, and he was arrested later for impersonating a police officer. That charge he was found guilty of. He had a bunch of other charges. The others were already dropped. They found him guilty of impersonating a police officer, and that cost him his pension. He lost his pension for the rest of his life. And they're just like, oh my gosh. But so I found out that he was in court by watching the docket. And that's how I found out about it. And I was able to follow up on that story. And then we had back in a trash issue. I feel hilarious because I did a number of videos on trash collection in Townsend, but that's my job. And somebody was suing over it, and I was able to do a video on that, and that was kind of fun. And then this case that we're dealing with, this lawsuit, I also check. I don't check it every day, but Middlesex Superior Court, I watch the docket periodically. I got all these tabs open on my computer. Got a whole slew of the daily list, so I could just reboot them, and I could check the docket in any court I want to. But I check periodically. I will check the Middlesex Superior, and then all I'm really doing there is, because there's usually a lot, and that's where murders go, and they're really big deal drug dealers and things, and a lot of it more serious crimes. And they're people I don't know, and I don't know what the cases really are, and it takes hours to go through all those. But I do a search on the court page for Town of Townsend. Who's suing the Town of Townsend? I told that to the same select board member who accused me of being a First Amendment auditor. I told her I checked that I checked the Middlesex Superior Court page every day, looking to see if anybody's suing the Town of Townsend. She lost her shit. But it's true. I do. I learn about a lot of. I learn. I find things, because every now and then there's a Town of Townsend lawsuit that I didn't know about, and there it is, and I'm able to, whether I do a video on it or not, because I was doing that before I started my YouTube channel. But you get to find out what's behind the scenes and see when they talk about things in public, are they talking nonsense? And are they lying? Because I've seen the court papers. Why are you lying to the townspeople? And they do. They don't want the townspeople to know that these things are happening, because those kind of things go into executive session, if at all, if they do it above board at all. So doing all this stuff is you got to do it if you're doing the kind of videos that I do, which is not First Amendment auditing. If you're just doing transparency audits, I guess, I don't know, open meeting law audits. They call me, somebody called me open meeting law police because I write so many of those. And I'm just after transparency. And I've learned where to find it, and the courthouse is one place to find it. I don't have to leave my house to get the initial court information. If it's in the district court and it's not, yeah, most of the district court stuff, criminal stuff, you have to look at the docket every single day, because it's not public information. The only thing that is public is the day's docket. A criminal case, you can't just search somebody's name in a criminal to look up to see if they have any criminal stuff going on. You won't, because it's blocked. It's not public. So if you check the docket every single day and you see some cases that you want to look up, you need to save them. You get their docket or their case number is there, and then I can just look up the case number a few months from now and see, did I miss anything? Is this case still going on? And then if once it gets to a point where I think they're going to give me the papers, I actually drive down to the courthouse and I get the records. And they're like, "Are you a lawyer?" No, I'm just a member of the public interested. Okay. They're not quite sure what to do. I helped them out one day. I was chasing down it was the Chad Rochette case. They had never docketed the decision. The decision was made like the next day after his hearing. But I'm watching for months, what's the decision? What's the decision? And I said, I got to go down there and find out what the hell's going on. And when I got down there, we opened the record and I'm like, I'm looking for the decision. And it's like, and we finally found it. But they, they're saying there's, wait a minute. They were so confused because the case was getting old, but there was no decision. And then they found the decision where the judge had just written in the margins that he lost his case. And then they were able to docket it, but they never would have caught it. It would have been just sitting there in limbo for months. And it was because I'm a citizen activist and wanted to know. Me and my transparency mission. And that's my mission, is transparency. And so when people accuse me of being a First Amendment auditor, or they block me they do whatever they can to block people from finding out about my channel or to find out what I'm saying. I was posting most of my videos on some of the different Facebook groups in town because I just want people to know. And then, of course, once they know some of my videos, maybe they'll stick around and subscribe and watch some more of my videos. But they decided they had another thing going on. They wanted to put a stop to it. And okay. So, but I know that I've got plenty of followers. Well, I do. I got plenty of followers. And I know people are spreading the word because we had a fire in town a week or so ago. Time's flying around here. And I ended up, because I did videos on the fire, I got like 10 new subscribers, which, I mean, I'm a small channel, so 10 might not be a lot to some people. But in a really short period of time, I got so I got new subscribers, so I know that they're interested in the fire. They like fires. People like fires. So I'm just hopeful that some of those people will stick around and be interested in some of the other things that are going on in town. All right, so I've been babbling on for over an hour, and it's what time is it? Oh, it's 8:30. Yep, time for bed. No, I think I'll feed my cats. But anyway, thanks for listening to my rant about transparency and my conversations with John and Josh and everything. And it's been kind of fun here tonight. Doing lives is not too bad. I haven't been doing lives, but this isn't too bad. I think I might do this again. All right. So thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. And if you haven't already, like this video and please subscribe. Before you leave YouTube tonight, before you leave my page, please like and subscribe. Really appreciate it. And share and tell your friends. But it's been a pleasure talking to everyone tonight, and hopefully everyone can have a good evening. So with that, I'm going to let's see, where's the music? I'm going to put the music back on so we can have our exit. How's that? Bring that back to the beginning, and there we go.